House has been on the market for several months. The woman who owns this says she was stunned when she found out someone was living here. She says it appears a guy decided to move in without telling anyone and without paying a dime.
So we have another squatter story. This one is out of the state of Georgia, and it involves a man called Timothy Pharaoh who moved into a house that was up for sale, ended up changing the locks, moved in a bunch of pets, started excessively smoking marijuana at the residence. But it's okay because when police showed up in order to deal with the trespassing call, he decided that he was going to tell them that he wasn't somebody who was stealing a home or committing any kind of a crime. He was actually participating, and by the way, I am quoting him on this, in a peaceful, hostile takeover of the property, and he was only nesting in said property as he has the right to do so. And while you might think this story ends with a happy ending because Timothy Pharaoh was in fact arrested at the scene, the crazy thing about this is what he was actually arrested for, because no, stealing this particular home was not the crime that he was charged with. And this is what we're going to talk about today. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
The rumors are in fact true, everyone. On Thursday, December 18th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be joined on this channel by Anna Kasparian, literal bestie of the channel.
It's real, guys. It's real.
Where we will discuss a great number of things with a specific focus on the corruption in the state of California. Definitely go to the link in the description, do the notify me thing because you don't want to miss it.
There are other people that don't really care about private property.
Adriana Ward found that out when she discovered a stranger was living in her house. The home on Twin Brooks Court in Marietta is for sale. When a realtor tried to show it over the weekend, the lockbox was missing. Ward rushed over and noticed other problems.
I usually let the blinds open of the property. We see the 3 blinds fully shut down.
And the deadbolt had been changed.
So look, normally I only point this out when it comes to local news reporters, but I know if I don't say anything about Adriana Medina Ward in this particular story, you preverts in the comments will go absolutely crazy, so obviously she is in fact a nice looking lady. That being said, her talking about how she normally leaves the blinds open at this property because she's trying to show the property and let natural light in, clearly a mistake, because what this ultimately ends up showing to a would-be squatter is that there is nobody in there, there's no furniture in there, and this is an unoccupied dwelling that is currently up for sale and thus makes it a good target to go into and squat in, or as the suspect said in this particular case, to do a peaceful, hostile takeover in, because apparently he doesn't understand that peaceful and hostile are antonyms. Like, that is an oxymoron, but you know, who is surprised? The guy seems like a moron, although maybe the morons are the people who pass these squatters' laws into place in the first place and haven't realized after so many cases of them being abused that they are being taken advantage of by criminals over and over and over again across this entire nation.
She called police, who knocked on the door. The man who answered said he lived there.
This is my house. I have squatter rights.
So one of the things that you guys need to realize is that the people who do these squatting schemes, they're not accidental inhabitants as the law was designed to address years and years ago. These people obviously know what they're doing. This guy showed up to this place, and as often is the case when somebody actually shows up that owns the property, he immediately says the same line that we hear in all these different schemes, which is, I'm a squatter, I have squatters' rights, you're gonna have to take me to eviction court. And the thing is, these people are incentivized to do as much damage to the property as possible in order to try to get a settlement from the homeowner so that she can move on with her life. And obviously this woman is putting this property up for sale for a reason. She's trying to get something in exchange for it, and this guy just represents a massive delay in this particular case. And by the way, we've seen something similar in the District of Columbia that we covered in a previous video, which of course Sinclair Broadcasting decided to copyright claim, even though my use of clips was fair use, and then block monetization, so I didn't even get a dime for my excellent coverage of that particular case. But this case, we will get paid, unlike the property owner, who's going to be screwed over completely by the fact that this guy is doing damage to the property that, of course, he has peacefully but hostilely taken over.
According to an arrest warrant, Timothy Pharaoh told police he moved into the home and was nesting. He said he was protected under Georgia's squatter rights and that he had possession of the home due to a peaceful, hostile takeover. Police took Pyron into custody.
So there you have it in plain English. In the police report, this guy said he was nesting and that it's a peaceful, hostile takeover. And of course, the local news media ends up showing his face. And I've been looking up and trying to research into this guy to figure out if he's a Moorish sovereign citizen. These are people who often believe that they are above American laws due to a treaty that we had in the early days of the country. It's absolutely insane and ridiculous. But oftentimes when black people are squatting and they start using this weird terminology, they happen to be a member of this group. But as of right now, I have not found evidence to support this, but considering that it is a black person in the South using weird verbiage, I would not be surprised if later on in the future it came out that he was a member of one of these ideologically motivated groups. And yes, it is in fact insane that we have race-based and ideologically motivated-based people who take other people's property under the premise that the laws don't apply to them because of some treaty that 100% is not a reference to Moorish sovereign citizens in the United States of America. Now, while I didn't find any evidence of him being a Moorish sovereign citizen, I did find evidence of him being a gangster rapper, and in fact, in this video right here, he's trying to get his latest single, his latest destined to be a hit, to 1 million views. Let's hear a little bit about that.
Y'all, look, I'm on a 90-day mission, right? I want to get my song to 1 million views on YouTube. I need y'all to help me. All right, I need y'all to help your boy. I need y'all to, boy, tap in, man. Share this, like it, engage, get it to somebody. Join my 90-day mission and help me succeed. Help me win. Let's get this song to 1 million views so I can drop another one for y'all. Come on now. Messaging, adding up, available on all platforms, but the link is in my bio. Go to my YouTube, run up the views, run up the comments, run up the likes. Help your out. Let's do it. Yes, sir.
And look, while he fell slightly short of his goal of getting his song to 1 million views on YouTube, it is currently at 86 views. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was initially going to make fun of this particular song, but it's actually not the worst. Honestly, I was gonna play this guy because he's a squatter, or an alleged squatter at this moment in time, and seems like he's a little bit of a scammer, and he's trying to get to 1 million views with a channel that in no way, shape, or form supports that. But I can't lie to you guys, I gotta be the most honest. This is not the lowest quality song I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying. I think he's doing a peaceful, hostile takeover of my brain because I was like, okay, I see a little bit in here. Maybe this is a weird way to break into the rap game, but you know what? AJW gonna link it in the description and you guys can check it out if you want to check it out. Hey guys, editing Sean here, and I did some more research into this guy and I found his Instagram and I found his Facebook page, and all over his Instagram and Facebook page are images like this, where he's basically doing the black people were pharaohs thing, they was the Egyptians, and of course other posts end up talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, which means, do I know or do I know when people start using weird verbiage that they are part of these fringe groups with these weird belief systems? Again, I never miss, guys. I don't even know why I second guessed my own assumptions and decided to do all this research, but yes, this man was pharaohs, if you guys don't know, and that's why he's taking your property. But regardless of all of that, this guy was arrested. Again, those statements were found in the arrest warrant, but like I promised you early on in this video, he was not actually arrested for illegally occupying this specific dwelling. In fact, because he was not arrested for that, there might be some truth that he is in fact protected by the state of Georgia squatter law, which means that the state of Georgia has to change the parameters of those squatters laws.
Then Ward got a chance to look inside.
Insane amount of smells to incense and marijuana. It was like so penetrating that our eyes were red. Insane amount of trash inside of the room. He also had pets. He had this gerbil.
So yeah, unsurprisingly, in this case, another common thing that we see with these particular squatters, the guy was flooding the place with trash. He had smoked the place out, so it smelled entirely like marijuana. He was also constantly burning incense candles, which again, added to the odor in the particular place. That mixed in with the garbage just makes it a rather disgusting affair, which means that this woman is going to have to do a deep clean in this particular property before selling it. And that is, of course, if this guy guy, after he deals with the criminal charges that he did receive, doesn't return to the property under, again, the state of Georgia's squatter protections. Now, of course, Ward is calling for some changes in Georgia state law so that these people are not protected. And again, I've been teasing this the whole time. That is because he was not arrested for actually stealing her property. He was arrested for something that seems far less significant, but also related to the fact that he was stealing her property.
Ward believes there needs to be stronger laws to protect homeowners who have unoccupied property. Pyron was not arrested for living in the house. His only charge was criminal damage, because when the deadbolt lock was changed, there was structural damage to the door.
Yeah, you just heard that right. Pyron was not, in fact, charged with his peaceful, hostile takeover of this property. He was not charged for trashing the inside of the property. The only criminal charges that the police were able to file against this man were for how he installed the new deadbolt after removing the previous deadbolt, because that actually damaged the door. That is the criminal charges that he's facing, essentially a vandalism charge, not a break-in entry, even though this was obviously a break-in entry. In fact, the guy stayed there and waited for the police to show up 4 days after breaking into this property. He's charged with damaging the door. Damaging the door while locking the homeowner out is the actual crime that this man is charged with. And again, it's just madness that we have to deal with these squatters cases all over the country, even though they, again, have no legal backing, or should have no legal backing, because this is by far and away not in the spirit of the original squatters protections. Remember, these were usually applied when you're like exploring the frontier. You would find a cabin, you would then set up in that cabin and then start growing your own crops and then altering and improving the land, improving the property. And then after like 7 years, when the original property owner would come back, there was a dispute because you had put so much effort and so much energy into said property. But in the modern era, we know who owns these properties. There's no discovering a cabin in the middle of the woods that there is no paperwork associated with, and you thinking maybe the guy left to go explore the frontier and then died along the way and is never going to come back, only for them to return a decade later. That is not a thing that happens. So these protections should not be reduced to apply to people who are in a property for 30 days, or again, people who are making these frivolous and insane claims or drawing up fake invoices, or all the different various schemes that we see associated with these squatting scams.
I wish this don't happen to anyone else, because it is really traumatic.
Again, Adriana Medina Ward, we are 100% on your side over here at the Actual Justice Warrior channel.
Ward says she believes the man had been living here for 4 or 5 days.
But obviously, on a more serious note, if somebody breaks into your property, there is no possible way that they should be granted squatters protections, especially if they're only in your property for 4 to 5 days and they've absolutely trashed it in that short period of time. But you know, Georgia has these ridiculous laws. They have yet to change them, and this is where we're at in this particular area of Georgia. And this is where I'm going to leave you with this squatter story. As per usual, if you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about squatting in the state of Georgia. Till next time.